Oh, it's warm. The hat has to go on. I said it was the last you'd see of Himeji Castle yesterday, but you got a glimpse of it there. I'm just going to do my own little walk around before I head off to Kyoto. Still keeping an eye on hotels, hostel accommodations, but Jesus, I tell you, Friday nights, Kyoto's bad on a weekday, but you come along to the weekend and the Japanese tourists come along as well. It's not just us shitty Westerners that come along. So yeah, keeping an eye out, but worst case scenario is I'm homeless for a night now. Saying that, in Kyoto it's not as bad because a lot of people go, for example, to what I did last time I was there, the Fushimi Inari, the Torii Gate area. They do that after midnight, so I mean, by the time, if I go to that at midnight, by the time you finish that, it's 2 o'clock, you're halfway to the morning. But we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna walk around, then I'm gonna get me almond toast soon again. Oh man, it's so good. Let's get it. There's Kyoto Station. Made it, just arrived about 10 minutes ago. I'm gonna check out a second-hand shop here that's around the corner, just because I'm at the station, it's here, why not? First thing I noticed the minute you come into Kyoto is the amount of foreigners. I'm one of them, but you know, it's just, this is like the city for big groups of tours, travel tours and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm here for the next, well, basically 24 hours, 30 hours more like, but it'll be fine. Just keep refreshing my hotel booking app. Now, I went into the second-hand shop and honestly it was a pretty bad one. Well, not that it was bad, but for what I was looking for, it's bad. And then I just came up the street and I saw a sign for this place, Toji Temple, and I've seen it lots of times on the map. I've been, this is my third time technically in Kyoto, although I wouldn't really say that I'm touring here this time, you know. But I never really came this far south of the train station, and when I say this far south, it's 10 minutes walk. But it's lovely, really nice place. Lovely 5-tier pagoda. Wow. Yeah, it's lovely. Then you just come along here. See this statue. Usually when these places have a statue like this, it's usually a statue representation of the, well, one of the main monks here. Priests. Guess they usually bless things here, sell you blessed items, but not today. The main attraction is in there. You can go in there. Not particularly in the mood of going in right now. I could end up back here later on decide let's go in, but at the moment I'm very warm and I would not mind an ice cream, to be quite honest. I don't know, if I go to the touristy part, of course they've got ice cream. They've got famous ice cream here in one of the convenience stores called Mini Stop. They're known for their ice cream, but I don't know. I'll see. I'll walk around here a little bit first and then I'll decide. It's lovely, isn't it? Now, if you remember, I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning, I have a feeling it was yesterday, I did say there's worse cities to be, or worse places to be homeless in for the night, because, you know, at the moment I'm still homeless. However, why I said there's worse places to be homeless in, there's a very good reason. That is the amount of tourists, specifically at the main attractions. So, for example, Fushimi Inari, the 10,000 Torii gates all the way up the mountain, although I did it last time. I'm not going to do it again, but I might go around that area later, just in general, the lower part. That dies off really late at night, really early in the morning. It's open all the time. And also the bamboo forest, which is very, very popular with tourists. I went there my first time in Kyoto and it was just absolute mayhem. You could barely walk down. But if I happen to be homeless, that means I can possibly get there like the very first streetcar. I think they have streetcars here. It's not a metro. So if that's the case, that would be pretty good. I'd love to go there again. Just walk around, you know. No crowds, at least not as many people. There will be some people that have the same idea. And tomorrow morning, after that, if I do that, hold on, lovely gate. Yeah, tomorrow morning, I potentially will make a day trip because I'm here till tomorrow. Oh, I think it's like 10 p.m. my bus. So I have the day basically and half of today. It's now almost 4 p.m. So I'm thinking of taking a day trip to Nara. Now, I've been to Nara before, but it's a really lovely place. It's full of it's famous for being full of deer. Basically, they're holy deer. You can get crackers and feed them, but they can be, I'm sure you know of Nara. They can be a little bit pushy, that's the right word, especially now because it's mating season. The male deer might be a little bit, people buy the crackers, so they expect everyone to have the crackers. But one really cool thing is when you have the cracker and you hold it in front of them, they've learned to bow, so they get a cracker. So that I'm thinking of just heading out there. I head out early enough, maybe 9 a.m. ish. Get there, spend a few hours there, walk around. It's a lovely peaceful part around Nara Park. There's a lovely few, very famous mochi shop. Very famous. You might have seen like the Instagram reels or TikToks where the people are hammering, using the big mallet to hit the rice flour mixture, and the guy is like slapping it all the time. That's where it's from. I have seen it before, but exactly a year ago. Yeah, it's always a year ago. So that's potentially the plan for tomorrow. Today is just keep checking the booking.com, keep checking Trip. I'm not paying €300. I can't pay €300 for one night here. I'd rather go to one of those internet cafes, and if I do go to one of them, I think I would only do it from just say midnight until like 3 a.m. So I could go there at midnight, have a little nap, 3 a.m, head back out and do like the touristy places, if you know what I mean. Like go to Fushimi and Ari, the lower levels, get ready for that first streetcar out to the bamboo forest. So that wouldn't be a terrible idea. Although it's the weekend, so the manga cafe is, as they're called, it could be sold out. We'll see. I think I need an ice cream. So I just went in and got myself a little ice cream. Now I've been eating a bit because it's starting to melt, but I don't know what flavour it is apart from mixed, so vanilla and something. It tastes like a, it's kind of like pumpkin spice, so maybe it's something like that. But the spoon is actually also made out of comb, so it's a pretty useful idea, right? No waste. Well, night has fallen here in Kyoto. Night, 7 p.m. Darkness has come along though. Yeah, so I think around midnight I'm gonna grab a manga cafe room for 3 hours just to rest, charge up my stuff. But before that, at about 10 I'll go grab a coffee. One of the coffee shops opens until I think it's 11, so I can go in there, have a coffee, just chill. Yeah, basically just that's it. That means I get out of the cafe, the manga cafe or whatever, the internet cafe, at about 3 a.m. Which gives me time to just walk a bit and then go and get a train to the bamboo forest. First train goes at 5 a.m. apparently, 5:30, sorry. So at least for now, that is the plan. Now this is, funny enough, the very day that I'm actually feeling like pretty tired now. I've been checking on the apps nothing. Less and less. And I had a feeling because, you know, 3 or 4 p.m. is usually the check-in time, so after that it's very, like, all the cancellations are done, because after that people have to pay for cancellations, so yeah, it's nearly impossible to get something after. But manga cafe it is. People use them, they can't be that bad. This is the Gion district, where the geisha live. Won't see any out though. If you remember my last Kyoto video, I told you why. Now I know it's so dark that even with the kind of night assist on this camera, it still doesn't kind of do it justice, but it's absolutely lovely walking along here. And I have to say, you can barely see me, Kyoto is one of my favourite cities. It's not that I don't like being here, I love it, but I've done all the touristy things, if you know what I mean. So I've done that like twice basically. So I'm just here basically just as a layover, but it is an absolutely gorgeous city. You could spend like a week here easily. I didn't. The only place I spent a week was Tokyo and Sapporo, but you could spend a week here. It is the old capital, so yeah, it's absolutely lovely walking along. But when I find my coffee shop, that's when I'll have to actually look on my map and kind of find out where these cafes, these 24-hour cafes are. It's funny because, sorry, you're listening to like a shadow speaking here, but it's funny because in these manga cafes, as they're also known, the internet cafes, they always have like free drinks, free ice cream and stuff like that. They've got like soft serve ice cream machines, which is pretty cool. It's a bit late for me to be using it in the night time, but if you were there like in the morning, you know, or if you were there for studying for a few hours, just somewhere quiet, free ice cream, free drinks, not alcohol, but still, you know, free drink is free drink. This street I'm walking on here, this all leads up to the main tourist street. This is a big tourist street as well, and when you're walking here like I did earlier on, I don't know if I recorded, I don't think I did, it's absolutely crowded. You're like a single file line behind people, you know, it's just madness. But like, it's nearly, well, it's just 11 p.m. now and it's so quiet. It just dies off because all the shops close at about 5:30 or 6, so you know, there's no reason for tourists to come up here really, other than to take a few photos of the pavilion up the top. And I would like to also point out that this whole not having accommodation thing, the problem I'm having now, it's all my fault. It's all self-made because not having a plan. If I'd have checked Kyoto for last week, for now, for tonight, I would have found loads of options. But it's because I didn't really check until yesterday. I was like, no, it's the weekend. Kyoto was like, you know, tourist central. Tokyo is tourist central as well, but Tokyo is bigger, has way more accommodation choices. Kyoto, not so much. And you're also surrounded by Osaka, right, surrounded, but you're bordering Osaka, which is also a gigantic tourist spot. So yeah, this is all my fault. As I've said before, not having a plan can be great, but it can also have its setbacks, and this is one of them. You actually have to be kind of quiet around here, because even though it's a tourist area, you know, people still live here, apartments here, so you have to just kind of keep the voice down. So that's why I'm talking a bit low. I might have to higher the volume up, but yeah, I'm gonna make my way towards the cafe and see if they have anything. If not, well, hey, what can you do? It's starting to rain now as well. That's a great combination. On my way up to Hades Cafe. Oh, let's see if I can get a place. All good to go. Had to pay a membership fee, so it came to about €10 for a few hours just. 512. Let's see how it is. Jesus. Hold on, where's the light? You know what? It's not the worst. It could be way worse. Free drinks outside. Let's check them out. And then I'm going to bed. Got loads of free stuff. Soda, coffee. Looks like the ice cream machine is broken. Huh. So the ice cream machine is being cleaned right now, but I'll get some in a while before I leave. Gonna sleep now for a few hours. Set my alarm just so I don't oversleep. So yeah, this is my hotel for a few hours. Just till 3. That's it. You can play games, you can watch your anime. The 4th floor, they've got a manga cafe, manga room. Might check that out before I leave. So they've also got, you can order food if you want. Hot dogs, pasta, all sorts of things. Dessert. No, it's not dessert. Never mind. A whole menu. Bet you never thought you'd get that in a manga cafe, huh? Anyway, catch you in a while. Pretty cool, isn't it? I'm just checking out now. Checking out, just leaving. So, well, honestly, that wasn't actually that bad of an experience. I slept most of the time, so it was fine. Just walking around now. I'm actually not gonna go to the bamboo forest, you know that? I checked the weather, and around that time it's supposed to rain here in Kyoto. So I'm thinking, you know, just scratch the bamboo forest. I've been there twice now. Let's just go to Nara instead. You know, it's a bit bigger. You've got lovely deer running around. So, sorry if it's dark. I just stopped off to get myself a coffee in 7-Eleven. I had the ice cream, okay, just before I left because the machine had been cleaning. So I said, okay, I don't know what flavour it was now. It was nice, you know, it was fine, it was soft serve. But, you know, having ice cream soft serve at 3 AM kind of makes me want to do a little soft serve of my own, if you get me. Yeah, but the only reason I stayed 3 hours instead of 6 or more was basically because there was no options. The guy said, oh, we only have a 3-hour slot available. I said, yeah, you know what, that'll do, it's fine. So I'm just gonna walk around now for what, an hour and a half until the trains actually start, and then I'll head off to Nara before all the tourists, hopefully, because believe me, Nara certainly attracts a lot of tourists. So yeah, I'll just go for a little wander around. Might as well. The only people I've seen so far are drunk tourists, basically. No problems or anything, you know, but you can tell they're drunk because the way they're walking. They're going left, they're going right, they don't know what foot goes first. So yeah, I'll catch you soon. So I was basically homeless tonight, you know, basically. Maybe not, but I'm claiming I was homeless. Well, here we are, 5:22 AM. Gonna catch the first train to Nara. I have to go to track 9. Surely there's not gonna be many people on this train. If it's like Nara from Kyoto, tourists are not gonna be busy going out here at this time. Could be wrong, they could be all doing the same thing as me. They could be all staying in manga cafes for the night and then popping out to Nara at 5:30. Yep. So it did start raining a bit. So yeah, didn't go to the bamboo forest as you know, but just need to find track 9. Let's go to Nara, ancient capital. Would you look at that, it's just here waiting for me. Track 9 to Nara. Oh my god, there's a few people on it. School kids, that's okay. Well, here we are. Finally arrived in Nara. I say finally, it was an hour. It wasn't that long. Gonna take a little walk up the main street now, just have a little wander around and check out what's going on at 6:30 AM here in Nara. Probably not an awful lot. It's very quiet here on the streets of Nara. However, oh, no cars. It wasn't always like that. It wasn't always quiet here. You see, back in 710, the year 710, Nara became the first permanent capital of Japan. Pretty interesting, huh? Before that, the capital of Japan used to move around with the emperor, so the emperor would pick a place that they found most suitable to fit their needs as the capital, and that's what happened. And that's actually one of the reasons why in Nara, up this way for example, also back the other side of the train station, Nara has some of Japan's oldest shrines and temples because it was the first permanent capital. So yeah, just a little interesting piece of info for you. At least I found it interesting when I first came here. I never knew that. I knew it was the capital at one point, but I didn't know it was the first permanent capital. We're going to make our way up towards Nara Park. See these shops all along the way. Up further on the left, they become really like packed full of tourists later on in the day. They sell all the deer kind of souvenirs, you know, deer key rings, deer magnets, deer hats, you know, with the antlers and stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty busy place during the day. Maybe even busier today because it's Saturday. Just saw these steps to the left, so I said we'll walk up and have a look at this temple area. I'm not sure what year this temple is from, but I know it's pretty old. Oh, the noise of the birds around. Oh, I see one of the locals. Do you see him over there? Yeah, one of the famous locals. Isn't that a nice one? This lovely other big temple here. I guess this is the central temple. This temple there as well. Lovely. And the rain hasn't come along yet. It's, you know, there's a chance of rain today, but fingers crossed it stays away. If it stays in Kyoto and doesn't make it all the way to Nara, I'll be happy. I don't mind that. Well, as you saw back there, you cannot come to Nara without seeing the stars of the show. The deer. Everywhere. All along. Look at this little guy. Hello. Hello. As I said, these locals, there's thousands of them here. Thousands. And according to local legend, the deer are actually the messengers of the gods, which is why the deer here in Nara are treated with so much respect. And they certainly know it, that's for sure. It's pretty cool. So throughout the day, now it's too early right now. Oh. So throughout the day, along here, up there, and back where those vendors were that I said here, with the souvenir shops. Throughout the day, you'll get people there, more vendors that come along and sell crackers for the deer. And the thing about the deer here, what they've learned over time, is a special way to get the crackers from people. If you get a cracker and you bow, the deer will bow back. Oh, pretty cool. But you know what? If you get a cracker, be prepared to become kind of the local celebrity for these deer, because I'll tell you, when one of them sees that cracker, more just come along, more and more and more. It's pretty cool. It's a really cool experience, but be careful, because the male deer can get a little bit well, could say overly active, you know. It is mating season now, but all throughout the year they could easily just, you know, bump into you or charge you. Just play it safe, basically, that's all. But it's lovely to walk along, walk through the forest path. It's not really a path, but it's a path for me right now. Walk along, got these lovely deer along the way. Hello, buddy. Ooh, I'm no cracker. No point in running. So yeah, it's a really cool little city. I say it is a city, obviously, because it's a former capital, but when you're in like the main part, it really feels like a small town. It really does. So quiet. Hello. So many deer around. The noise that was some of them, it's actually horrible, the sound that they make. Really horrible. And the noise of that squeal. It sounds like someone's been attacked. I'm gonna sit down. Where will I sit down? Have my little onigiri that I bought in Lawson. Oh, the sun is so bright here, I don't want to sit here if that's in my eyes. Anyway, I'll find a little spot and I'll get back to you. You can see every year they shave or cut the antlers off, just basically to protect them and protect people, because you know the deer obviously can harm themselves, like, or harm each other, because that's what they'll do. They might fight over a female, you know. But it's a different story when tourists get involved, you know, if there's injury and stuff like that. So I understand why they do it, and it's no harm really. You know, they do a good job with this. Sedate them temporarily, just give them some kind of a anesthetic and do the job, and that's it, done. Yeah, no trouble. You got something on your mouth there, buddy. It's crazy just to be walking, like, you know, this is a footpath basically, but it is a footpath and a cycle path. And there's just deer just roaming around. They cross the street, cars, when you see it back there, when the deer is crossing, the cars just have to stop. Like, what can they do, you know? They're sacred. It's not as if you can just drive over them. You know, they're very, very important here. Also very important for tourism. When you think of it, this place gets, I don't know how many, hundreds, thousands of tourists every year, so yeah, I mean, they've got to kind of keep it running, you know, keep the whole system going, even if people don't believe that they're the messenger of the gods anymore. They bring in the dollars. Just here, just chilling. So instead of homeless people everywhere, Japan has deer. Got the museum over here as well. Of course, as I said, this area would have a lot of, has a lot of art history here, relics, just because of it being the first permanent capital. So a lot of kind of Japanese culture, modern Japanese culture, kind of began here. Even coming up to this little temple here. Now we're coming up into the grounds of the Todaiji. The Todaiji is the main temple here in Nara. It was built in the 700s while Nara was the capital. Straight ahead, the main building holds... hold on. Now, when you're stepping over, you have to actually make sure there's no deer poop on the floor. But the main temple here, as I said, it's called the Great Buddha Hall. So this actually holds one of the biggest Buddhas in Japan. Now of course this place was damaged a little bit over time, there was earthquakes, it was damaged by fire when there was battles here. So it has been kind of repaired gradually over the last 1300 years, as you'd expect, I guess, for a temple. Different like when we were at Himeji castle, because that was a castle. This is just a temple, so of course it's going to get some damage every now and then, but you can walk around. There's, of course, it's straight ahead, but up this way there's a lovely hall that you can go up to, and you get like a view out over this temple area. The grounds here are lovely, some lovely green areas that you can go to. The deer are still obviously chilling out in those green areas, as you'd expect. That's what they do. They love just chilling and eating. Now when the giant Buddha was actually placed in here, the ceremony was such a big deal at the time that they invited over dignitaries from China and India just for this ceremony. So I mean, this it's absolutely massive importance to Nara and to Japan. It was back then. I guess it is still important in its own way. We're gonna take a walk up this way and get to the little viewpoint, if I remember the way. It shouldn't be too hard. So I remember when I came to Nara last time, I stayed here actually, in a little guest house for 2 nights. And at night time I went through, night time, 8 o'clock. It was dark, when all the tourists were gone from visiting from Kyoto and Osaka. I went out to the park. It's so dark and it's creepy. When you're walking along in the dark, every now and then you'll see the shine from the eyes of the deer just peering at you from the distance, glowing. And as well as that, the noise of them. At night time you're walking through there and you hear that mad stuff like that. It's like screeching, and you're walking through the dark. You're walking down a path like this, right? And on each side just trees as you walk up, and there's a lot of like lanterns and stuff like that going up each way, and you can't really see what's beyond them, and you just hear that noise right beside you. It's pretty creepy. It kind of gets you going like, oh Jesus. But it's just the deer, it's what they do. You know, really nice at night time, but unless you're in the mood for something relaxing, like just coming here for a couple of days, then it's probably more worth your time doing just a day trip to Nara. There's not an awful lot here really, tourism wise, except for seeing the deer and the museum. But really, apart from that, you know, it's kind of a day trip is enough. I just came out that last time because I just wanted to relax for a couple of days, like the way I did it on Himeji. Just wanted to pick a place where I could go and just spend a couple of days. Now we're going to come to a nice viewpoint of Nara. You can go on to kind of the terrace up here. Just sit down, just relax. Better cleanse myself. And you can sit up here. There's benches back there. Sit out and just admire that. As a matter of fact, that direction straight ahead is Kyoto. You're just surrounded by deer. Hello. And you've got this lovely street with all the old style wooden buildings all along it. Now of course they're all tourist shops, but you have to expect that because that's the main thing that Nara makes its money from. Tourism, knife shops, you know, just all sorts of things. So this shrine here is actually called the Kasuga Taisha. Very important here. It enshrines deities that were supposed to help with the prosperity of Nara, the capital at the time. And the main deity that it hosts was supposed to have came here riding a white deer to reside on the mountain behind the shrine here. And that kind of links in the white deer are so sacred here. Pretty cool. All these lovely red beams, red pillars. Very touristy. Lovely main gate as well. So yeah, it's a pretty important shrine here in Nara, especially with the link to the deer, as I said. You know, that's very important for Nara, especially. And all the lanterns on each side. Look at all these. And this stretches on up here as far as the eye can see. It goes up past those steps at the end and around. I've been up it a couple of times when I was here. But it's lovely with these moss covered lanterns. I think the moss just adds a cool effect, doesn't it? As a matter of fact, the Kasuga Taisha, that temple, is so important, or so culturally important, that it was actually given UNESCO World Heritage Site recognition, which is pretty cool. All the way down here back into Nara town, it's just endless rows of lanterns. Well, broken up a bit by a couple of vending machines along the way. And a few hungry deer. Can I get him to bow? Yeah. Okay. Well, he did bow a little bit. Sorry, I don't have anything. That's cool. And I guess this is a statue representing the deer that the deity came in on. Pretty cool that they have a statue dedicated to that. As I said a few times already, but it goes to show you just how important this area is to Nara. Barrels of sake. Can we get him to bow? See, they know when they start bowing, people give them deer crackers. Isn't that really cool though, that they've learned that over time? Like, I guess they've watched their parents do it, and their parents have watched their parents doing it. It's just gradually fed down generation to generation. I never thought I'd say generation to generation when I was talking about deer, but I am. But yeah, it's so unique, really cool. Look at these two doing it. Well, here we are back at Nara station. That's going to conclude our little adventure for today. I'm tired, as you can probably guess. But the adventure continues tonight when we leave Kyoto and head off somewhere. You'll find out in the next video. Well, thanks for watching. Take it easy and bye bye.